It is November 18th, and the amount of things that have popped off over the weekend are crazy. So we're going to get into that. I'm making sure that this live stream is working, that it's doing what it's supposed to do, that you guys can hear me. Trying to get YouTube to hurry up and show me if it's working or not. Yes, and y'all, we are still fixed. Let's really quick, before we get into Doug Emhoff and Joe Biden in Brazil and Zelensky and Putin and technically the next world war and nuclear war and everything else, let's just go ahead and thank YouTube for getting their shit together and giving me back my live streams in the correct orientation. Now, somebody said that they think the reason my live streams were wonky before, how everything was backwards, is because I am conservative, Republican, right-sided versus left. And during the election, they didn't want people like me to be able to influence the left to come over to the right side. You know what I mean? So they made it so that it was very difficult for people to watch, because not everybody wants to watch stuff that looks backwards. It can be off-putting for some. And so as soon as elections are over, y'all, as soon as elections are over and I decide to have a conversation about Paul, what's his name? Paul, whatever the crap his name is. Y'all, I can't think. Jake Paul and Mike Tyson after the Netflix fiasco of a fight, my live streams are suddenly back to normal. So I'm extremely, extremely happy about that. Okay, let's jump into everything, y'all. Let's see, where do we start? All right, let's start with the fun stuff. We'll get to the possible imminent death of the world in a few minutes. Let's go with the fun stuff, okay? So here is what I find very interesting right now. There are rumors circulating. And now I know people who talk about people and gossip and whatever else, it's not considered classy and, it shows you have low brain cells. But guess what? Today, y'all, we're going to be unclassy and stupid because there are rumors circulating that Doug Emhoff and Kamala Harris may be getting a divorce. All right, let me explain why this is a big deal. Number one, because that man's gay. That's not the point though. Whatever, he's closeted all day long. It's fine. The way he and Tim Walz bro hugged, and they both with the flailing of the arms and the jazz hands and the stuff. No. So I think he's closeted, but it's fine. It's not a big deal. The interesting part that now that the elections are over and Kamala Harris didn't win, that there would be trouble in paradise says a lot to me. It says that Kamala Harris, this is my thoughts, and I said it in the very beginning of everything, that the only reason Kamala Harris was married to Doug Emhoff was for the look of it. She got married like right before she decided she wanted to run for president in 2020, right? Before she wanted to put her name in the hat to try to get on the Democrat ballot and whatever else. And then Joe Biden was like, fine, I'll do it. I'll take her, whatever. That's when her and Doug Emhoff got married. And I think it was all for publicity, because a woman who can't decide if she's Indian or black or whatever, and who wears pantsuits and drinks a lot and cackles a lot and has no thoughts in her own head and just marbles floating around, she needed something, right, to make her seem relatable. That's the word that everybody wants to use when it comes to the left, and Tim Walz and Doug Emhoff and Kamala Harris and all of them, that they're relatable. I don't think so. So in order for her to be relatable, she needed to not be a single 50-something-year-old woman, when she first started running. I think she's 60 now. She just turned 60 during the election process. So she was 56, whatever back then, 55. They wanted her to not look like a spinster. That's what we're going to go with, because she has no kids, nothing else. So they're like, you should probably get married, for the image. And then they're like, but you should also probably marry somebody who's not exactly like you, because it'll look better that way. You'll reach more demographics, right? So she was like, all right, well, maybe I'll pick a white guy, right? And then she goes, well, maybe he should also be a different religion than me. And I don't believe that she has any religion whatsoever. I don't believe that she follows anything, even though all these churches kept letting her in during the election process. But I don't see how a church would let her in to speak while also knowing that she brought an abortion ban to the DNC. But that's not the point. So she picks a Jewish man, and then they're like, he should probably have kids. And they're like, all right, well, okay, so we'll pick this Jewish man with 2 kids. And like, oh, wait, it's even better if one of those kids happens to be possibly mentally unhealthy and thinks that they are something that they're not, maybe trans, maybe whatever, maybe they're confused on their sexuality. So let's really make it a just put everything in one pot kind of thing. And then that also needs to be wondered often if your husband is gay or not. And man, did she pick the winner out of that one when she picked Doug Emhoff. He checks all the boxes, right? But now that those boxes did not help her get elected, what's the point in staying together, right? Like, what's the point in staying together? All this dirt that came out about Doug Emhoff while she was running for president with him. We already knew about the nanny while he was married. And at first they said the nanny had an abortion. All right. This is what's interesting to me. At first they said the nanny had an abortion. And the reason I think they said that was to show that even Doug Emhoff is on board with abortions, like try to make it popular and normal and not what it is, the murdering of children. But anyway, so they put it like that. But then they're like, no, the stress from the Doug Emhoff and whatever's going on caused a miscarriage in the nanny that he knocked up, right? Who knows the actual truth there, because they stated it one way and then they backtrack and changed it. So I don't really know what the truth is on that one. And then you had the information come out that he slapped some chick that he was dating. Y'all. And they tried to put him as the new version of masculine, that's what masculine should look like. No. Nothing about Doug Emhoff is masculine. Just like nothing about Tim Walz is masculine. Those two are the most fruitiest pebbles I've ever seen. There's nothing masculine about either of them. Fellas, if you're out there watching, do not, from a straight woman who likes to sleep with her husband because ding-a-ling all day, do not try to make yourself more like a Doug Emhoff or Tim Walz, thinking it's going to pull in the ladies. It's going to pull in the ones who still have junk down there that just dress like ladies. So be very, very careful about that. So that's the Doug Emhoff tea that's going around, is that there is a divorce on the horizon for Kamala Harris. And now I'm like, okay, so she didn't get the presidency. She's out of the job as VP in just like 60 something days. What's she going to do? Because now she's not going to have a man or fake children to fall back on. What's she going to do? Where's she going to go? McDonald's ain't going to hire her now. She lied about that. That's not going to work. I'm very curious what happens to her now. I know that they are trying to get her into Congress somehow. Right. We're trying to get her in there somehow. Horrible idea, number one. But here's what I think is going to happen. Let me tell you what I think is going to happen. So I have a ton of stuff saved here on X. And like I said, we're going to get to the Zelensky Putin stuff and the long range missiles because it is a massive deal. But I want to go through the lighthearted stuff first, because I think it's important to start off with a positive mind frame. Now, I'm positive that Kamala Harris is trash. And I'm also positive that the left is not going to let her just, go quietly into the night, that something's going to happen with her. And let me explain what it is once I can find the bookmark here, because I bookmark way too many things. Here's the problem with me. I'm constantly looking at stuff that's going on, and there's so much happening that I'm saving everything. And then I can't find a damn thing when I want it because I've saved way too much. Side note, organic carrots, whole and baby carrots, are causing death and destruction amongst people. So if you have organic carrots, throw them out. That's off topic, but I saw it and wanted to bring it to your attention. Where is this? Pennsylvania? No. Biden and Brazil. That one's interesting. We'll get to that in just a second. Pentagon failing their financial audit for the 7th year in a row. We'll get to that in just a second. Here we go. I've said it numerous times, and I'm going to say it one more time. We have like 60 something days before the changing of the guards, if you will, in the White House, before they kick out Joe Biden and Kamala Harris and bring in Donald Trump and JD Vance. And I am on pins and needles until then. It's one of those things where the hair on the back of my neck consistently standing up, because I'm like, oh, something feels wrong. It feels way too easy. Everything's going on feels way too easy. So this is, and I've said it before, they're going to find a way to put her in office. And this is how they do it. And it ties into Putin and Zelensky with the long range missiles, with the starting of the legit next war. And let me explain why. So this person named Bruce Ballo, I don't know, at Vet Bruce on X, posted this, and it's exactly the way I was thinking, but he worded it way more eloquently than I could have. He says, hear me out. This is how the Dems insert Harris as POTUS, President of the United States. Number one, Joe Biden tells Ukraine to fire at will into Russian territories using U.S. LRMs, long-range missiles, right? Which less than 24 hours ago on a Sunday, right? Was that not on a Sunday? What is it with Joe Biden and doing things on a Sunday? Wasn't that Sunday that he said that? Anyway, so you have that. Number 2, Democrats demand Biden immediately resign due to mental decline and instability. The 25th Amendment, the same thing we have talked about numerous times. Number 3, Kamala is now in the White House and spends her time actively demanding election recounts using lawfare and I don't know what Mark Elias is. Maybe that's, I don't know what that is. I'm not even gonna lie. Maybe it's a person. I don't know. But right now you have these swing states that are still counting votes in, where was it? I believe it was one of the counties in Pennsylvania. Maybe it was Arizona. I can't remember. They're counting votes and they're coming back with tons of votes for Kamala Harris and very few votes for Donald Trump. And it's very interesting to me that that is the case. Okay, so there's that. Then number 4, World War III has started and Kamala and Congress suspends elections and change of command to Trump. That is how she becomes POTUS. That is how she becomes the 47th president. And I don't put anything past them. They wanted her to win. They tried so hard to help her win. They spent $1 billion plus in 140 something days in hopes of getting her put into the White House, right? And they're still trying everything they can, even though she's like $20 million in debt. She's still reaching out to people, trying to get money to pay off people. She's quit paying her employees. I don't know if that's really the right word, but she's quit paying the people on her campaign, even though she says she's going to pay them through the end of the year. She's quit paying them. And there's a lot of issues here, but this is how they would do it. In order for them to really be able to pull out the 25th Amendment and make it stick, make it work, and make Americans okay with it, is to make it seem like because of the current sitting president and his failing mental decline, that he has now put us, the United States, the country of the United States, into the next war because of us allowing, which is still such a weird word, allowing Ukraine to use long-range missiles against Russia. When Putin himself has said, I dare you to use long-range missiles towards me because I will use nuclear weapons right back at you. He has said it numerous times. It's nothing new. And so for Joe Biden to know that Ukraine using long-range missiles will result in nuclear war, and he still says, do it, we have an issue here. Houston, we have a problem. But America, we have a problem. So this is how I think that they are trying to get Kamala Harris into the office as president. We have not seen her since she lost the election. She has been quiet, not out and about. She's back to doing her VP roles that she completely stopped doing during the campaign trail. People are talking about, oh, well, you don't even see JD Vance out anymore with Donald Trump. Well, there's a reason that JD Vance and Donald Trump are not together everywhere they go, because if somebody's trying to actively take Trump out, you don't want JD Vance going out with him. You need him there as second in command, right? If something were to happen to Trump, we have JD Vance to be his backup. So of course they're not going to be out together. Just like right now, you're also not seeing Joe Biden and Kamala Harris together. One, because Joe Biden, for some reason, decided to flit off to Brazil in the middle of whatever. And that's the other problem here. The okaying of the long-range missiles was done on a Sunday while Joe Biden's in Brazil. So who really gave the okay for Ukraine to, kick it up a notch and bomb Russia? That's my question. You think Joe Biden's standing at the podium in Brazil talking about Brazil nuts and whatever else and goes, oh, by the way, hear me out. And I'm not kidding. No joke. We should let Ukraine long-range missile into Russia. Okay. I'm not kidding. No joke. Listen. The timing of it, very interesting, especially have COP29 kicking off at the same time. Just everything is like a small kerfuffle right now, if you will. And I don't put anything past anybody when it comes to the reasons behind allowing Ukraine to long-range missile shoot into Russia. and Joe Biden not being in the US when this decision is said and made and whatever else. Kamala Harris being not anywhere seen, but still trying to pull in money while Doug Emhoff is probably asking for a divorce. Donald Trump is at ringside at the UFC. Elon Musk is hanging out in Mar-a-Lago on a daily basis. Just so much going on, and swing states still counting ballots from a November 5th election, which was 13 days ago. Tomorrow will be officially 2 weeks since the election ended, and the results came out that Donald Trump is the winning president-elect, and we still have people counting votes. No. So there's that. Let's go back to what we were doing here and find the rest. So not only do we have, I'm trying to figure out what order to go in now that I've gone through everything that I wanted to with Doug Emhoff. I want to read you this one. It says, Kamala promised her staffers payment until the end of the year, which is what we just talked about. She just cut them off because the campaign is $20 million in debt. Also, think about this, though. Y'all think about this. If this woman is president, she blew through $1 billion in 3 months and went into debt in those same 3 months. That's who we want at the head of the country. That's who we want telling, setting up I know she doesn't set up the budget herself, but you know what I mean? She has a say in everything. She would. Is that really who we want at the head of this country? Listen to this. The candidate who ran on Joy somehow spent $1 billion in 107 days. The candidate who ran on Joy reportedly spent $2,626,110 on private flights alone in the last 2 weeks of the election. What the crap? I won't even spend money on an Uber if it's going to cost me more than $20. I would rather find a way to walk there, bicycle there, or not go. And this woman is spending $2.6 million on private flights. Whatever. And the candidate who ran on Joy just stopped paying her employees at Christmas time, which, y'all, in case you're not aware, is supposed to be the most joyous time of year. Okay. And now she's begging donors for even more money, even though the election is over and she lost. People wanted to hand her control of the American economy, which is absolutely redonkulous, in my opinion. So there's that. Side note, thank you all for being here. I love you immensely. That is all. New leaks indicate Doug Emhoff has left Kamala. We've already talked about this. Donald Trump puts together a list of mail. Oh, that one's important. We'll get to that in just a second. Spirit Airlines just filed bankruptcy. Side note, Spirit Airlines, the one that was flying into Haiti and got shot up while flying into Haiti. Yeah, they just filed bankruptcy. This is Matt Gaetz related. We'll get back to that one in just a second. Gavin Newsom, who he makes $224,000 a year. Side note, his salary is large but small, if you want to think about it that way. $224,000 a year is a shit ton of money to the average American. But for a politician, I'm not quite sure if that's a lot or a little bit, whatever. But he is now buying a $9.1 million mansion as he relocates his family from California's capital to one of the wealthiest areas of the U.S. How? Just out of curiosity, how? If you only get paid $224,000 a year, even if you had absolutely no bills and saved every single little flipping penny, it would take you almost your entire lifetime to afford a $9.1 million home. Now, we could say good old Auntie Nancy Pelosi might have a little money to slide into his pocket since, the people in charge on the Dem side, they like to, launder money while pretending to give it to Ukraine, but it goes to Ukraine and then it comes back and then it lines their pockets. And then she, buys the silence of Gavin Newsom and keeps him off the presidential ballot by buying him a $9.1 million mansion. Okay, so there's that. Let's see what else. I love this. And I just want to show this to you. Elon Musk posted this and he said, there's some deep truths here. Somebody posted this picture of Elon Musk, Tulsi Gabbard, Donald Trump, and RFK Jr. and said, Democrats won the election. Because think about it. All of them were Democrats at some point. Donald Trump was a Democrat way back in the day. And then he was like, no, we're Republican. Democrats aren't my thing, whatever else. RFK Jr. was Democrat, then went independent. Tulsi Gabbard, Democrat, went independent. Elon Musk, Democrat, then California screwed his kid up in the head and he went straight over to the Republican side. And then Tulsi Gabbard said, independent's great, but I align now more with Republicans and the things they want for this country. So she went Republican. RFK Jr. said, technically I'm more independent, but I really like the way that Donald Trump wants to steer the country in the correct direction. And then he said, you know what? Republican. So you have 4 Democrats turned Republican who won the presidential election. Like, it is very ironic if you do stop and think about it, that 4 Democrats are the reason why the Republicans won. It's like, you know what I mean? Anyway, it's just interesting to me. Let's see. Let's go to the missiles and then we'll get back to some other stuff because, like I said, there's a ton going on here. Trump. Oh, here we go. Let's see. I don't know. This is a 3-minute long video, but here's Putin. It's his toe looking face. He looks like a big toe, but there's Putin. And he says, and I don't speak Russian, so this is the translation. He said, we will use nuclear weapons if a mass enemy missile or UAV is launched towards Russia or when these weapons cross into Russian territory. Like he said it. We will use nuclear weapons. And Joe Biden knows that. So does France and whatever the other third country is that's part of this. UK? Somebody else. I can't remember the other third country now that was like, yeah, totally use these missiles. Because of the 3 countries, the United States, France, and whatever else, they all decided that nuclear war is the direction we should totally go as a world, that's what makes the most sense. And so they okayed long-range missiles, and now Putin's sitting at his desk like, all right, I'm ready to push the button. Just gonna push the button, nuke Zelensky and everybody else. And then, you know what? F you, Joe Biden, and then send them this way. What's to stop them from sending them this way to take out Joe Biden? Putin may like Donald Trump, and I don't even think Putin likes Donald Trump. I think he respects the fact that Donald Trump is not one to fuck with. Like, he's not going to sit back and just take it, right? He is a no nonsense kind of guy. He will tell you exactly what he's going to do. He has no problem telling you exactly what he's going to do. He has no problem telling you that you're stupid for the things that you're doing. Putin, Zelensky, everybody, right? So I don't know that Putin would retaliate against the United States until he spoke to Donald Trump. That's my thought process on that. That although Joe Biden and the Democrats themselves, and I don't even know that Joe Biden, like I said, Joe Biden, I don't think signed his letter that was posted to X where he withdrew himself for the Democrat ballot. I don't think Joe Biden wrote that. I don't think Joe Biden signed that because at no point in time has Joe Biden underlined his name on anything. It wasn't on White House letterhead, none of it, right? I don't think that Joe Biden gave the okay for the long-range missiles either, but he is their puppet now. He is just somebody there to, parade him around, let him out loose for a couple minutes so that people can see he's still alive in theory, because you know how well they can do with masks and body doubles and whatnot. They parade him around, let people know that they're still a president, and then they do what they're going to do anyway with his approval or without it. They've got Kamala Harris as vice president. I feel like she would have to sign off on something, but there's no talk about her signing off on anything. The level of secrecy when it comes to how things are done in this country is concerning, because we all know that the government is supposed to work for us, right? The government is supposed to work for the people of the United States, but our current government is working against us. They work against the people of the United States. They work for everybody else. They keep us in the dark about what's going on. It's not how it's supposed to be. It's not how the Constitution is written. None of it, right? You have Donald Trump, who has now made the Department of Government Efficiency, DOGE, Department of Government Efficiency, and they are going to be completely transparent. You have Elon Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy. They've already started some X account for it, and they're going to tell you everything that's going on, what's going to happen, who's losing a job, where the money's going, everything, because Donald Trump, after being in office for 4 years and then out of office for 4 years, understands the need for transparency amongst things so that the people of this country feel safe, feel heard, feel seen. Not like that Katie Britt said it, because again, Katie Britt, bless it, we see you, we hear you. Still one of the creepiest things I've ever seen in my entire life. And I watch scary movies. It feels like something that should be in an M. Night Shyamalan movie. I don't know how to say his last name. It feels like that. That's going to be used somewhere in a horror movie at some point in time. She was like Annabelle with the eyes and the smile. Anyway, not the point. Where's it going? Lost it. It will come back. Hold on. Nope, lost it. Doesn't matter. So Donald Trump knows that people want to know what's happening, what's going on, whatever else. And he's going to be fully transparent. Let's dial that back. Not fully transparent. That'd be stupid. He is going to be transparent enough. There we go. Transparent enough so that the citizens, the ones that matter of the United States, understand what's going on so that we aren't blindsided by anything, whether it's inflation or it is a, mass weaponized flu that's sent our way, or it's something else, right? He's going to give us the ability to hear him, to speak back, to work as a country to ensure that we make America great again, because it can't all be on one man. It's not even feasible for one man to come in here and fix everything. It does take all of us, right? It is a group effort, if you will. And over the last 4 years, the group has been a little fucked up, like plain and simple. The group that was working the hardest was the group that wanted to fail the assignment, is what it comes down to. The left, they were working so hard to ensure that we, as the people of the United States, had no say in what was going on. They wanted us to think we did. We had no say. None of us would want anything that's happened over the last 4 years, like the economy going to shit, inflation going through the roof, the open borders, everything else. None of us wanted that, but they made it seem like that was what we all voted for. And we know that's not the case. Anyway, you have Putin threatening nuclear war because the world is now on the brink. We are on the brink of nuclear war. In addition to USA, I knew it was UK, France and the UK, see, I was right, had authorized Ukraine to strike deep into Russian territory with their Scalp / Storm Shadow missiles. They are trying to escalate the war before Trump takes presidency. Putin has already made it clear that any missile strikes deep into Russian territory will force Russia to use tactical nuclear weapons in Ukraine. He also stated that countries that have handed over these weapons to Ukraine will be considered direct participants in attacks against Russia, which is what I was saying. Does that mean because Joe Biden, because y'all, I swear that Ukraine has more of our military equipment than we here in the US have. They have our tanks, they have our missiles, they have our guns, they have our helmets, they have our vests, they have literally a little bit of everything, because our country is putting it, just sending it over to them like it's nothing, right? Plus all of our effing money. I pay taxes to help our country. I don't pay taxes to fund a war in Ukraine. Like, that's on them. I don't go into my neighbor's house and get into the middle of their fight that they're having. That's not on me. What happens in your house is your house. Leave my house out of it, and I won't step foot in your house and F it up. Like, that's how it should work. But our country, for some reason, our current administration thinks that we belong in everybody else's house, that we should just go in, don't even knock, just walk on in and make yourself at home and whatever little shit they've got going on over there. No, that's not okay. You deal with your own home. And unless somebody asks for help or it gets to the point where it's going to spill over into your home, you leave that shit alone. Ukraine wasn't coming towards us. Neither was Russia at the time. And yet here we are in the middle of everything, like some nosy ass neighbors. Anyway, you have to worry about what's going to happen. If Zelensky seriously fires off one of these missiles into Russia, you better duck and cover your ass and hope that everything's going to come out okay, because it's going to be crazy. I don't even know what it's going to be like. I can't even say it's going to be crazy. I don't know if it's going to be like a little bit of nothing, if it's going to be absolutely horrific, if it's going to be, I don't know. This is one of those things where you have people trying to scare the crap out of you that you're about to die, which is not what I'm doing, because I have no idea how this is going to work. You have other people trying to tell you everything's fine. It's not a big deal. It is whatever. I have no idea. I have no clue if this is going to be a huge deal or a nothing burger. It could be absolutely nothing. Zelensky gets the okay and he's like, nah, I don't want to do it because then, it's going to cause an issue. And then you have Putin who's like, don't do it. I don't want to have to kill you. And Zelensky's like, I don't really want to die, so maybe we won't do it. And then they just call a random truce. Anything's possible. No idea. So we'll just keep paying attention to see what happens. I think that's all you can do, is to every day make sure that you are watching what's going on around you, paying attention to everything. Because if you don't, then you hear bomb sirens going off. You're like, what's that? That's why you got to pay attention. All right, let's see what else we have here. There was some more that I wanted to share about that. We did that with the thing and the thing. Oh gosh, Maui. We'll get back to Maui in a second. So Gunther Eagleman on X posted this, and he says, breaking. This is yesterday he posted this. Zelensky just announced strikes are not carried out with words. Such things are not announced. That felt like a Kamala statement. I don't even know what the hell. It says, these people want us in a massive global conflict. They are doing whatever they can to get an escalated reaction from Putin. So let's see if this will play. Wait, I got to close this thing. Let's see if we can hear what he's saying. Wait a second. That's not helpful.
The plan to strengthen Ukraine is the victory plan, which I presented to our partners. One of its key points is long-range capabilities for our army. Today, there's a lot of talk in the media about us receiving permission for respective actions. But strikes are not carried out with words. Such things are not announced. Missiles will speak for themselves. They certainly will.
Okay, so that gives it more context. So he's saying that, you know, words aren't going to do anything, that missiles will do the work. And so he's gonna send some missiles over into Russia. All right. So there's that. This is a game of mine's bigger than yours. Like, y'all just whip it out and compare. Somebody bring a ruler, figure out whose is bigger, and let's all get along with our daily lives. That is all this is. Anytime these guys want to go to war, it's a whose dick is bigger. That's all it comes down to. Yeah, so AP, the Associated Press, was the first one to break this. They put out the story about the missiles. I don't know what little insider they have, you know, tweeting things into their ear, but they put out the story first, and then everybody picked it up and ran with it. And you have Biden. Biden looks like he wants to be on the set of Yellowstone for some reason. He's just missing a cowboy hat to me. You got Biden getting off of Air Force One there and going to Brazil. I believe this is in Brazil. And again, I don't think Biden okayed it. I feel like there's certain things you do while sitting aboard Air Force One on your way to Brazil. For Biden, I feel like it's probably take a nap because the man is old. I feel like it was probably take a nap, not decide to destroy the United States. Like, he may be mad at Pelosi and Schumer and Obama and Kamala and everybody else for the coup that they have pulled on him and everything else. But I don't think that he would do that to the American people, but over the course of Joe Biden's career, he has done some really shitty things to the American people. So you can't put anything past anybody, and that is the problem here. Like, you can't put anything past any of them. So, I don't know why I saved this one, but it says, well, rip to us all. We are about to get as close to an all-out nuclear war more than ever before. Ukraine will be erased off the earth once the first American weapon is used on the Russian population. This is reckless from NATO, and they won't win. There are no winners. True. Feels like a Avengers movie. You know, in the Avengers, Tony Stark was really mad after he got like blown up, and he realized that all of the weapons that were used against him were his weapons, that somebody in the United States was selling it off to the countries we were supposed to be fighting and whatever else. The movie is funny to me, or not funny. It's ironic to me because that's exactly what we do. We tell ourselves, or the government tells the people here, that they have everything they need to defend us, yet then they sell all of our defense equipment and everything else to other countries who then know exactly how to combat everything that we would use against them. It's not very smart. Not very smart at all. And yet here we are on the verge of another war. So look, this is what I was saying. This is Joe Biden. Joe Biden, go back. This is him in Brazil just standing, and then he just closes whatever little book he had, and he just moseys on off into the rainforest, into the middle of nowhere. Where are his handlers? Do you think there's somebody back there, like with a dog whistle, like making a little clicking sound so he knows to follow the noise to go that way? Or anyway, I don't know. Joe Biden is clearly lost, in my personal opinion, but he approved it. According to them, Joe Biden has approved the long-range missiles. It's going to be very, I'm going to use the word interesting. It's what I have to do. I have to go with interesting as opposed to stress myself out over something I literally have absolutely no control over, which is what I think we all need to remember. at this point in time, we have no control over what is going to happen. Okay. So sitting around and being scared about it is not going to help anybody at all. You just have to woosah and keep it moving. And this is one of those, this is going to sound so incredibly cheesy. This is one of those things where live every day like it's your last. Yeah, I know it sounds stupid, but if you don't know what's going to happen and you don't know what's over the horizon, if you live every day like it's going to be your last, you're not going to spend your last day pissed off, right? You're going to try to do the things you want to do, be nice to the people, tell the ones you love that you love them, do all the stuff, right? So that's what I think we have to focus on, because if we need to have these conversations, and it feels hypocritical to have this conversation while also saying, live your best life at the same time. But you have to stay informed of what's going on, but you don't have to let it eat you alive. Like, you don't have to let it tear you down to the point where you can't function, because you have no control over it. If you're religious, then it's in God's hands. If you're not religious, then just breathe, meditate. I don't know which way to go there, but it's not something that we have control over. It's not like I'm going to call and be like, hey, Zelensky, bro, don't do it, please. That's not going to happen. Hey, Putin, broski, if you could not, that'd be great. Okay. It's not going to happen. It's not how it works. So instead I go, those two may try to kill each other. I want to go get some coffee, babe. You want to go? And that's how it works. You have to continue living your life despite the chaotic bullshit that's going on all around. Keep it in mind. All right. I want to play this for you. Totally off topic of absolutely anything, but brilliant at the same time. Listen to this lady. Number one, I love her beanie. It says Trump. I just realized it's backwards. I'm like, what does that say? But it's because it's backwards. But listen to what she has to say.
If your uterus has more confirmed kills than my AR, I'm clearly not the problem.
That's all. If your uterus has more kills than my any gun, I'm clearly not the problem. Yet the guns are what the Democrats want to go after. Okay, that's all. I just wanted to share that with you because it was amusing to me. Let's go back over here. Okay, so this is the one. This is one of the things. It says here, the Pennsylvania Supreme Court already ruled that ballots with missing or incorrect dates cannot be counted. We were just talking about how everything feels a little too easy with Trump being named president-elect and everything kind of going too smooth. He's picking his cabinet members. Yeah, there's a little bit of ruckus about it, but not really too much, right? And then you have these swing states suddenly popping up with, oh no, but we're still counting. Well, he's already been named president-elect. I think it's too late, but I don't know what the left will do to try to overturn the November 5th results. So it says here, the Pennsylvania Supreme Court already ruled that ballots with missing or incorrect dates cannot be counted. Despite this, Bucks County is continuing to count them. Anyways, we talked about this yesterday. Democrat Commissioner Diane Ellis Marseglia said, precedent by a court doesn't matter anymore in this country. People violate laws anytime they want. And if I violate this law, it's because I want a court to pay attention to it. Chairman Michael Whatley has already filed several lawsuits. Republican Dave Sunday will be sworn in as the Pennsylvania Attorney General in January 2025. So my question is, listen, I want you to hear what she said. Let's do that. Let's play what she had to say. Get bigger. Maybe I'm hearing this wrong, but I want you guys to listen to her words, and maybe you can hear it in a different way than I did. Let's see here.
Reject all three categories of these ballots.
Your motion is to reject or dismiss the challenges in this category in front of you?
Correct, yep.
Not going to second that, mostly because I think we all know that precedent by a court doesn't matter anymore in this country, and people violate laws anytime they want. So for me, if I violate this law, it's because I want a court to pay attention to it.
We reject all three categories of these ballots.
So here's what throws me off. She sounds more like a Republican. And I know maybe that's weird, but the way she's saying it sounds like something I would say. Okay. When she said, hold on, let me pull it back up here. When she said, Precedent by a court doesn't matter anymore in this country. I mean, the courts tried to say that Donald Trump was guilty of something that was manufactured, made up, and whatever. Okay. People violate laws anytime they want, which is true. The left has made it so you can violate all the laws you want and be perfectly fine. They're just going to let you smash and grab $1,000 worth of stuff, go on your way, rape, murder, pillage, plunder, whatever, go on your way. It's fine. It's not a big deal. And then she says, for me, if I violate this law, it's because I want a court to pay attention to it. It almost sounds like she is saying that she is going against their wish in order to have more eyes drawn to the fact that there are people that are counting ballots that shouldn't be counted. It almost sounds like that, right? Like that's how I hear it. And if that's the case, then does that mean that she's not a bitch? Like I'm very confused because the way I hear it may not be the way she means it. Maybe because it's not a whole entire video, and without the front and the back, the middle's hard to kind of like fully gauge what she's saying. But to me, it sounds like one of those things of, you told me we can't do this, and I'm doing it anyway so that maybe you'll pay attention and stop this nonsense. That's how I kind of hear it. And if that's the case, that's great, right? So anyway, I wanted to share that with you because you have a lot of different places in these swing states that are still counting these ballots, and it's not being stopped. It's not being looked at. The courts are just, turning a blind eye to it and everything else. And then if for some reason at the end of all these swing states with these last counted ballots come out and go, oh, well, this puts Kamala Harris above Donald Trump. Technically, she's president-elect. Will they go with it, or will they say, no, y'all are not following the law. You broke the law. We said you couldn't count the ballots. You did anyway. It's a moot point. It doesn't work. It's whatever. And right now they're just letting them do it so they feel better about themselves, but they're not actually going to go with it. I'm very curious how that part goes out too, right? So again, I hear things, but I don't always hear them the way they're supposed to be heard. And I get curious if I'm hearing them correctly or the way I want to hear them, which again is why we have these conversations. So I have a different take on it from you guys too. Maybe you're hearing it differently than I am. Another thing I have here, Ron DeSantis just put this out about an hour ago, all right? He says, Senator Marco Rubio, which again, I'm still on the fence with, we've talked about this. Senator Marco Rubio is expected to resign from the Senate to assume duties as Secretary of State when the Trump administration takes power on January 20th, creating a vacancy roughly 2 months from today, which we talked about. We have already received strong interest from several possible candidates, and we continue to gather names of additional candidates and conduct preliminary vetting. More extensive vetting and candidate interviews will be conducted over the next few weeks, with a selection likely made by the beginning of January. Florida deserves a senator who will help President Trump deliver on his election mandate, be strong on immigration and border security, take on the entrenched bureaucracy and administrative state, reverse the nation's fiscal decline, be animated by conservative principles, and has a proven record of results. I said from day one, and I will continue to say it, Byron Donalds, please. Other people are saying, Laura Trump, whatever. I'm like, I would do it, but I don't know a damn thing about politics like that, like how to slide into them. So that's not going to work. But I think Byron Donalds would be absolutely amazing. As somebody who lives in Florida, I have a vested interest in what happens here, whether it is with the Florida borders, with, Haiti, with Cuba, with anybody else coming through illegally, Mexico, wherever coming into Florida illegally. I have a vested interest in who is in the Senate, the Congress, who's the governor, everything, because everything affects me personally. But not only does it affect me personally because I live here in the state, it still affects the rest of the country because it all goes hand in hand. Everything works together. Whether you realize it or not, what people do in California versus what people do in Florida, they might be opposite, but people pay attention to both things. Sometimes people in Florida may pull things that California is doing and decide they want to do it over here or vice versa. And it's very important to pay attention to what's happening in each individual state, because it could affect your state at some point in the future. Okay. Anyway, I think that Byron Donalds would be an amazing asset beyond what he already is. So I'm just putting that out there vocally to the ears, that are listening, that Byron Donalds would be my pick there to replace Marco Rubio. What else do I have here? I have so much more stuff here. Team Trump. Oh, this one. Y'all. All right. So we talked about Doug Emhoff and Kamala Harris and that shit show, right? And then we talked about Putin and Zelensky and the missiles. And then I'm trying to remember the thumbnail so I don't forget to talk about everything I put in there. What was on the top left of the thumbnail? I don't remember. We had Putin, Zelensky, we had Doug Emhoff. What did I put in the top left of the thumbnail? Does anybody remember? Because I can't see it and now I don't remember. I feel like it was important and I don't know if I've already talked about it or not, and I don't want to forget it, but I don't remember. That's fine. We'll continue on with this. So this is something that Eric Daughtry, I don't know how to say his last name, posted on X, says breaking. This went up a couple hours ago. Trump team puts together a list of military officers to court-martial. Listen, to court-martial involved in... Wait, how does this read? Trump team puts together a list of military officers to court-martial. Okay, there we go. Involved in the botched Afghanistan withdrawal. This is according to NBC. Charges of treason are being considered for some officers. They are also getting together a potential commission to investigate the withdrawal that resulted in American deaths. Remember, we talked about them, 13 men and women, I fully believe. And during that whole instance it was Arlington National Cemetery where Joe Biden kept checking his watch in the middle of it. And then later on, people got pissed off because Donald Trump was there and took pictures with the family members of the 13 men and women that were killed with the Afghanistan withdrawal. It says here, the list includes both current and former U.S. military officials and will be used to examine if they can be court-martialed for their involvement. They're taking it very seriously. So that's huge. You already have Trump talking about he doesn't want retribution or revenge, but he's also not going to sit back and let everything that has happened over the last 4 years just fade away. You know what I mean? He's not going to let everybody have an easy out or, pass go, collect your $200 and keep it trucking. He is going to make people, I guess, pay for it. Does sound like retribution or revenge, but pay for the things that they have done over the last 4 years that have either hurt the citizens of this country or have been used to undermine the greatness of this country. That's the best way I know how to phrase this. So once Donald Trump is in office, if they do not find a way to pull the 25th Amendment and boot out Biden and bring in Kamala Harris because of this long-range missile issue with Zelensky and Putin, if he gets sworn in on January 20th, like he's supposed to be, held accountable, that's the word, he is going to come in and he is going to clean house. He is going to hold people accountable for what they did, and he's going to hold people accountable for what they did not do. It goes both ways, right? I personally, and I've said it before, and I'm probably going to say it 100,000 more times, so get used to it. I am very much looking forward to the next 4 years and how drastically different it will be from the last 4 years. A lot of people don't like change. A lot of people are scared of change. I am not scared. I am elated that change is coming. I am so happy that we are going back to a time where common sense and morals were the forefront of how this country was run, as opposed to indoctrination and mental decline and just idiocracy, basically. I am very much looking forward to the next 4 years under Donald Trump. Speaking of idiocracy, let's just play this dumb bitch right here real fast. Look, one, this is going to sound very, very mean. Is a thought that popped into my head, and I understand how mean it's going to sound, but it is what it is. When I was younger, my mom and I used to watch this show. It was kind of like Beauty and the Beast. I don't remember if that's what it was. It had the woman who was from Terminator, and it had the guy who was like the Beast. Maybe it was called Beauty and the Beast. I don't remember what the name of the show was. You guys might not remember it. It was literally like 35 years ago. It was like forever ago, but it had the lady from Terminator and the guy who had the hair and he was messed up looking, but it looked like this person. I saw this person and I thought of that show, which again, I can't remember what it's called, but listen to this.
I am a woman and I use the women's restroom, and I guarantee you, not one of you will stop me. I am a woman.
Oh, honey, you think just because your face is a little fucked up looking that I won't stop you from going into the women's restroom? No, I'll just try to even it out for you. That's what we're going to do. You would get stopped all day long. Nothing about you as a woman. Don't care. Listen, this is really messed up. I don't care if you roll in a wheelchair. I'm going to flip your ass out of it. You do not belong in a women's restroom if you have a dick between your legs. At the end of the day, that's all that matters. Okay, so get on out. You're not a woman. I hate it. I can't stand it. I have to be careful with the way I phrase things. And I remind myself this after I've already said things, because YouTube actually pulled one of my videos down. They took my video away talking about RFK Jr. and his thoughts and opinions on, can't use the word, on, shit, I don't even know how to phrase it. I put it up on X so you guys can go watch it over there. I posted it here 2 days ago. I was in my car talking about RFK Jr., making America healthy again, and the amount of things that have been done to our children and our bodies in order to follow the rules so that kids can go to school or whatever else, but instead it's making them autistic. See, I found a way to do it without using the words. Y'all know exactly what I'm saying. Y'all know. YouTube took the video down. They said that it was, what did they call it? It's in my phone. I took screenshots. They called it medical misinformation because I spoke my opinion based off facts. They called it medical misinformation and took my video down. And I was like, oh, so you're still being paid by the left and by Pfizer and Moderna. Okay. Cool. I get it. So got to be real careful. So I went over and uploaded it on X instead, because Elon Musk is very much for freedom of speech. And if there's anything wrong with it, guess what? It'll happen. It'll get community noted. It'll get fact checked. But guess what's not going to happen? Any community notes or fact checks. You know why? Because I didn't say one effing lie in the entire video. So there's that. If you guys want to see it, it's over on X. There's more. Y'all, how long have we been doing this? Shoot, almost an hour. Side note, when this is over, I have to drive an hour away because I left my credit card somewhere and I have to go pick it up. 42 years old. It's the first time I've ever left my credit card somewhere. The good news is I was able to freeze it so nobody can use it, but I'm very pissed that I left it at a restaurant. Never done it in my life before. Yeah, anyway, this is important. We'll do that one later. We'll talk about that later. That's different. We'll talk about that later too. Okay, here we go. We'll just do this one real fast. So Trump's son, Donald Trump Jr., commented the new decision of Biden administration to strike Russia with the long-range missiles and calls them imbeciles. The military industrial complex seems to want to make sure they get World War III going before my father has a chance to create peace and save lives. Got to lock in those trillions, the life be damned, imbeciles, which is what Donald Trump Jr. said, which is very true. Again, money, for the love of, how does it go? Y'all, I mess this up every time. The root of all evil is the love of money, or for the love of money is the root of all evil. Y'all know exactly how this works. The money is why everything is the way it is. The wars that go on is not because they actually care about whatever it is they think they're fighting for. It's because of the money that goes along with it. The money that gets to move hands back and forth and, launder it from one country to another. The weapons that get to be bought, which makes the country selling them so much money. The country that then has the weapons gets to then use them against whoever they want to pilfer and steal from and do whatever from. It is all about money at the end of the day. And this allowing of long-range missiles from Ukraine into Russia is no different than love of money. At the end of the day, it always will come down to it. I can guarantee you right now that if Putin and Zelensky sat down and Zelensky's like, listen, I will pay you these billions upon billions of dollars that the U.S. has sent us. I'll just give it to you if you leave us alone. Putin will be like, all right, I'll take the money. Not a big deal. Because money makes the world go round. It also brings it to a screeching halt. So there's that. I'm curious to see what's going to happen over the next 24 hours between Ukraine and Russia, because I feel like that's when we'll know what's really going to happen is within the next 24 hours, probably in the middle of the night. They don't do anything by day. I would assume it'll be like a night strike or something crazy, but I fully expect us to hear something soon. I have a lot more here to do. We'll do more either later today or tomorrow. There is some Maui information I want to bring you guys. I'm sure you have seen. If you have not, you can Google it and find it, but we will also have the conversation tomorrow. And this is the one I was looking for. So James Woods, he's an actor. He said, so who authorized flinging American missiles into Russia? Because Biden, his daughter Ashley, and his granddaughter Natalie are currently on a nature tour in the Amazon rainforest. Again, don't know who signed off on it, but I don't think it was Biden. So there's that. Let me jump over here real fast and check something before I say goodbye. You guys can go if you need to, but I just want to check something real fast and answer a couple of different questions that popped up that I saw and could not get to. I just got to figure out how to get to the live chat because my phone, computer, blah, blah, blah. Are we muted? I think we're muted. Okay. Let's see. What do we have here? So Teflon Don said, thumbs up for saying Fruity Pebbles about Doug Emhoff and Tim Walz, which is very true. Tartwork said corruption is how he can afford that. Corruption is how he can afford that. I missed that when it came through. So I'm going to have to assume it is Biden related because that makes perfect sense. If so, I'm going to go with that. And then Barbara, welcome to part of the family, Barbara. B. Turner said the communist Dems want global domination. Oh yeah, they want one world order. That's why you have World Economic Forum and the World Health Organization and the UN and NATO and everybody else trying to work together to figure out a way to run the world, which is why they did not want Donald Trump in office. They wanted Democrats in office because the Democrats will sell us out much faster than a Republican ever would. Not all Republicans are amazing, obviously, right? But Donald Trump is not going to sell this country out. He is a businessman, but he's not a stupid businessman, right? So he's not going to sell us out to the highest bidder, whether it's, WF, the WHO, the whatever. We're not going to end up in this digital central bank digital currency. That's not going to happen under Donald Trump. We're not going to be in an electric everything under Donald Trump. We're still going to have our fossil fuels and everything else. So many different things that the powers that be, the puppet masters, were working towards over the last 4 years will now have to go back to square one or be put on hold because Donald Trump has come in and he is not going to fall in line with their agenda or anything else. And it's going to piss them off immensely, right? So communist Dems want global domination. I fully agree. Rodley, thank you, sir. Hope you're doing well. Side note, I know the surgery and stuff. Christina says, coming to Florida in December, wish we could meet up. We'd have a hoop. Ma'am, if you happen to be in Okaloosa, let me know. We'll figure something out. And then TBA Productions, welcome to part of the family. Happy to have you here. Listen, I love you all very much. I appreciate you all immensely for hanging out with me to have these conversations. I hope you have a fabulous rest of your Monday, my dudes. I may see you later, may not. We will definitely be here tomorrow for another live stream if you're interested. Same time, same place. If it works for you, it works for me. And if you want to see the video about RFK Jr. and the things I was talking about, it's over on X. There is a link somewhere on my channel to go over there. And there's a bunch of free crap over on Patreon. If you guys want to go over there and join, it's free to join over there as well, where we post things that can't put on YouTube because 3 strikes and you're out over here. And we're not trying to get completely kicked off the platform, right? So we post the nitty gritty over on other places. So that's that. Yep. I love you guys. Have a good day. Bye-bye.